Forward Together podcast here on this Monday, December 22nd. And if nobody's told you, let me be the first to wish you a very Merry Christmas. In today's episode, we're actually going to dedicate it to Christmas and some of our traditions and what we do with our families.
And memories.
Memories, yeah. Definitely got to get the memories in there. So, Christmas week, big week for everybody. So, Rob, how do you guys, what's some kind of traditions you guys have in your family?
Yeah, well, so before I get into that, I'm sure you're like me, we've already had so many Christmas celebrations at this point.
Oh, yeah.
We had our program at church yesterday, and it went amazing. We've got parties. We had our staff party. We had party at school for the staff, and the kids had choir. There's just so many different things that's already happened to celebrate Christmas. It's like I said this in a sermon recently, we celebrate Christmas like 1/12 of the year. It's like a whole season of celebration.
Yeah, that's true.
I heard somebody say, as you get into this time of year, we kind of talked about it around Thanksgiving, how you want to stay disciplined through the holidays and continue your routines and your habits and stay productive, because some people, they don't take a holiday, they take a month, and they end up slacking off. They end up, not really keeping the pedal to the metal this time of the year, continue to work hard, continue to be productive. Now, I'm not saying we shouldn't take time off, don't get me wrong, but some people kind of take that, you've probably seen it in your line of work. People
absolutely.
Start laying out, showing up late,
I'm just taking probably that last week of December off. So that way I haven't saved my PTO.
There you go.
Yeah.
Are you?
Yeah, pretty much.
Awesome.
Yeah. I got 6-7 days left, so we got to take that off before the end of the year.
Are you traveling any for the holidays?
No, not for the holidays. Stacy, I know we're going to talk about it later. Stacy will be heading to Texas in January. With her being the director, it's kind of hard to miss holidays. They're a stepping stone. So she's going down it's a dual purpose reasons, kind of a late Christmas. And then, Chloe is pregnant again. So we got more grandbabies on the way.
It's exciting.
Help out a little bit with that as well.
That's cool. So growing up, Christmas, what did we do? So, as a child, my parents always made Christmas very special. Santa came to our house.
Yep.
And we always had big Christmas. It seemed like lots of gifts, stockings full of gifts and candy. We always opened gifts on Christmas morning.
Okay.
Some families do Christmas Eve, or we always did Christmas morning. And it was always at home with just me and my mom and dad. And then another family tradition that we always did that we no longer do is we would go over my aunt and uncle's house on Christmas Eve. My Aunt Doris, I called her Boo Boo. And we always went over there on Christmas Eve. And they've both passed now, but it was like the whole family would come. Like, they had a large family. They had 4 children, and then they had their families and then their grandchildren. But then my aunt, my mom was invited, and her other siblings, and so they ended up having a whole house full. And they were just very hospitable, and there was always more food than you could eat. And all the cousins, we would be there, and it was just a fun time, and we had fun. Now, some of my cousins would have a little bit too much Mary in their Christmas, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
And so there would be some laughs and some stories afterwards because they had a little too much Mary. But it was just a good time, and you miss those things because it's just not the same. I remember the first Christmas after my aunt passed away in July 2018. I remember that first Christmas. We went over there on Christmas Eve just because I knew I had a couple of cousins that still lived in the home there, and I knew it would be hard for them.
Right.
So we went over but it just wasn't the same, and so my kids got to spend only a little bit of that. Probably don't even have a memory of it because like I said, it was 2018 when we kind of stopped doing that. But I know my cousins and all will remember the good memories we had there. But what about you guys? What'd you guys do?
So not a heavy, super heavy tradition family. So 3 of my grandparents had passed away before I have any memory of them. So not a lot of parents things. So what I remember from Christmas is my aunt and uncle and cousins would come over on the 24th. And then Santa came to visit always on the 25th. And I was talking about memories. So I have 2, and they're pretty short. So I got a spaceship for one Christmas. The Pulaski Church of God used to put on massive Christmas cantatas. And so there was one talk, I don't remember what it was about. I think it was a kids thing. It had something to do with space. And they actually built a spaceship. I don't think people would do this anymore. They made a hoist and I mean it was a full size, like you could get in and play kind of spaceship.
Oh, wow.
And they built it and it came down. Well, they didn't have anything to do with it afterwards, and so I got that one Christmas.
That's
it's great.
awesome.
Yeah, great Christmas gift for me, and I'm sure the church was probably trying to figure out how to get rid of this massive thing. I don't even know how it fit through the door, so it was huge.
That's so
I got
cool.
that, and then
How old were you when you got that?
10ish, 11,
Okay.
9, 10, something. It's like a
That's
playhouse,
cool.
right? So
Yeah.
somewhere around that age. And then spoiler alert, I'm going to say it right now. Parents, I'm going to talk about Santa Claus. So if you know what I'm saying, pause or fast forward this for about 30 seconds. And then, so I found that Santa, was not Santa. So Brother Mickey Byers used to play Santa for us. And after one of those cantatas, I walked into the choir room and Santa, Brother Mickey, was sitting there without a beard and half his, his shirt off, or his Santa costume off. So I was like, well, that was a huge growing up. And then last memory is, so believed in Santa, and this kind of goes in that same, about the same year. So I wanted a Huffy bike. I can't remember the name of it, but it was the kind, it was gray, and it had the white, like, disc wheels on the outside. They were super popular. I think it's called like the Magna or something. So my parents kept telling me Santa was going to bring it. Well, my parents, I don't know if my parents remember, so if they watch this, they'll know. So they had put it in the back of the truck, but the wheel stuck up above the bed of the truck. So I looked out the window looking for Santa, and I saw the wheel of my bike in the truck, and Santa brought it, but I knew better.
I'm not sure I understand where you're going. Are you trying to say that Santa's not?
Well, if you guys can unpause now, I got no more comments on Santa.
Look, I'm a Santa fan. Look, we got Santa, an American flag saluting, camo, my favorite
Oh, yeah.
Christmas sweater on today. So,
It's good. I should have. I didn't know. I could have brought my Christmas sweater. Didn't think about it.
so favorite gift or most memorable gift was probably the spaceship.
No, the most memorable gift was that bike.
Was the bike,
Yeah,
okay.
I've never ever wanted. The spaceship was kind of a surprise, random thing. Like I wasn't asking for a spaceship.
Because that's unique. I mean, not
Yeah.
every kid can kind of have a spaceship playhouse.
Yeah, I had it for forever. It sat down in the field. Like I said, it was big. But the bike, that's
Okay.
I was real big into BMX and freestyling and all that kind of stuff. So the bike was definitely the best
Wow.
Christmas gift that I remember.
I've had so many great Christmas gifts and surprises, but the one I guess it was probably the best is, I'm sure you grew up older than me, but you remember He-Man.
Oh yeah.
So you had Castle Grayskull, which was He-Man's.
Power of Grayskull.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
Skeletor had Snake Mountain.
Yep.
And then you had the Fright Zone, which was for Hordak and his crew. So all three of those kind of castles, I had all those. But then in the around 86, 87, they came out with Eternia, which was this ginormous castle. And it was like $99 back then, which is a huge amount
Yes.
for a toy, even now. But toys are, I mean, you can buy Lego. It's nothing to go to Walmart and see a Lego set for $180, $200. So you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
How the price of toys is crazy, but that was like a big deal. Like I got Eternia, and it had this, and I so wish I still had it because it's worth thousands of dollars now. But it had this track, and you could put the figure on, and it would go around the track. And I used to play with it with GI Joes too. Like when I would set the He-Man figures aside, I'd bring the GI Joes or the Star Wars, and we would do battles in there. And so I was an only child, just similar.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of same stories, and so I had a big imagination, and I would sit and play with that thing for hours.
Yeah, G.I. Joe was my thing.
Okay.
But definitely remember He-Man, the cartoon. Used to love coming.
Yep.
And
Coming home
kids-
from school and
yeah,
watching
dude,
it.
kids today, I feel bad for them. No cartoons.
I mean, they're there, but it's streaming, and you watch any episode anytime. It's not like 3:30 He-Man's coming on.
But they ain't cool like He-Man and
No,
stuff like that.
No. But it's all online, so you can show
Go
them
back
He-Man.
and watch it now.
So that's kind of changed as obviously we're adults now. We're parents. You're a grandparent, and so let's talk about how Christmas kind of changes as you go along. So
Yeah, so for me, I loved Christmas when the girls were young, and to me that was truly when you have that kind of unfiltered. They come down the steps. Well, we had a house like that, and open presents, and just the pure delight like the kids get to me is what Christmas is all about.
100%.
Isla Belle was 18 months old and is all that Stacy cares about for Christmas, which is the way it should be. She's going down in January to see them kind of have a late Christmas, and I am super excited for when like Isla Belle gets a little older, because then I can spoil her and do those kind of things. So kids and Christmas for me is what Christmas is all about.
Yeah.
I laugh and have said this from the pulpit, and I joke. From an adult standpoint, I'm kind of a humbug. Like I love Thanksgiving more than Christmas, except for kids. There's nothing better than kids.
Yeah.
Santa, Christmas tree.
Yeah, I agree. So when Casey and I got married, our kind of Christmas tradition changed. So one of the things is we're always home, even in, well, I won't say not every year, but before the kids were born, sometimes we would maybe be at my parents' or her parents' on Christmas Day. But since the children have been born, we have always been at home on Christmas. So we usually see my parents. When we lived in Pulaski, we would go Christmas Day later in the day.
Right.
We would go to my parents. But now that we've been away from there for, I guess going on 12 years now, we go to celebrate Christmas with my parents before we're home on Christmas Day, and then we celebrate with Casey's family after Christmas. It's kind of been the tradition has worked for her siblings for us to all go there, whether they were in Louisiana or now in Tennessee, and be there and kind of be there to celebrate New Year's together. And so it's worked out really well. And so we really have 3 Christmases almost where there's gifts. Now, Casey's family, it's not as many gifts as like my side of the family. Every family does different. Casey's family's more, let's all do an experience. Let's go to Rock City and look at lights, or let's go to Pigeon Forge and go to the Dixie Stampede, or do something together.
Right.
Not as many gifts. My mom likes to shop and buy lots of gifts, and so we do. So the kids get gifts there, get gifts from Santa, and then a gift or two, and usually an experience from Casey's family. So I mean, but I agree with you. I mean, that's what's fun, and of course, my children are 15, 12, and 9, and they still get excited about Christmas, and especially Lexi. And we do the elf, and we do Santa, and all the fun things. But growing up as PKs, my kids know the real meaning of Christmas and what we always focus on. Every Christmas morning, one thing we do before we go downstairs is where the tree is, where Santa brings the gifts, like you said, for your girls. We sit down and read the story together. Even though they know the story, we could quote Luke chapter 2 practically. I preached from it yesterday, but we would go over the story, we have prayer together, and then we go, and we've always done it that way. So it's been awesome. It's been good.
I guess I would give one quick piece of advice to younger families, things like that. Cherish the time, especially if you live around your parents. Everybody's kind of in one thing, because in today's world, as you get older, so Stacy's parents are in Minnesota. Chloe, Isla Belle, and Ron are in Houston. Jules is in Corpus, and obviously we're here. My parents are about an hour and a half away. But enjoy those times when you can be together, because I am so proud of the girls and becoming strong, independent women, and that's kind of where their lives have taken them, and that's how you raise your kids. But I mean, we are literally all across the country, like in different time zones. So enjoy that time when you're there together, because you never know. Not for bad reasons, but as your kids get older, you'll see some of that time can kind of go away from you. So enjoy it while you got it.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. All right, word of the week. So I preached a message recently about the cost of Christmas, and we talked about how much toys cost now. You could talk about the amount of money. The average the stat I found was the average American spends almost $1,000 on Christmas expenses. Now that's not just gifts. That includes travel. It includes food. It includes decorations, trees, all that sort of thing.
$1,000.
Yeah, but that's if you took all the money spent on Christmas and averaged it out for every American, it's about $1,000, but it includes everything.
Okay.
And so there's a cost to Christmas, but the message I shared was to look at the cost that each person kind of in the Christmas story had to pay. There was a different cost that Mary had to pay to be willing to obey, what the Lord asked her to do. Joseph had a cost, the shepherds, the wise men, and of course, the greatest cost of all was the cost that Jesus, the babe in the manger, paid, and that was for our redemption and our salvation. So I just want to read today from Matthew 2, verse 11, when the Magi, the wise men, arrived. It says, when they come into the house, they saw the young child with Mary, his mother, and they fell down and worshipped him. And when they had opened their treasures, they presented unto him gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. And so think about that this Christmas, that there's a cost to our worship. We bring we bring our treasures to the Lord. We bring offerings, we bring tithes, we serve God and give Him our time and our efforts and our energy. But the greatest thing we can worship is ourselves, is falling down before Him, submitting ourselves to Him. And that's really, the cost of Christmas is to make sure that we are giving ourselves fully to the Lord in worship and service. And so let me just leave you with that. And wish you all a Merry Christmas. We've enjoyed this podcast this year. We've got one more week.
One more?
And it'll be 2025.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It is.
Man, I'm getting old. Hey, Merry Christmas. We appreciate you. If you haven't, like and subscribe, and we'll see you next week.